So, what if you could control a computer just by thinking? You know, text a friend, play a video game, maybe even move a robotic arm, all without lifting a finger. Well, this isn't science fiction anymore. It is the very real technology that Elon Musk's Neuralink is building right now. And honestly, it promises to change literally everything we thought we knew about being human.
Just try to imagine being trapped in your own body, completely unable to move or communicate. And then, imagine someone hands you a key to unlock that prison, to connect with the world again just by thinking. That is the incredible, life-altering promise Neuralink is making, and for the very first time, it's starting to become a reality.
But, and this is a huge but, helping people with paralysis, that's really just the beginning. The ultimate goal is something, well, it's a lot more ambitious. Something that sounds like it was ripped straight out of a cyberpunk novel. To create a direct, high-speed connection between our brains and artificial intelligence. A true merger of human consciousness and machine smarts.
So which one is it? Are we looking at the dawn of a new era for humanity? You know, the next big leap in our evolution? Or are we kind of just walking straight into a digital prison, a world of surveillance and control we can never, ever escape from? Let's dig in and see what the evidence really says. Okay, so to even begin to answer that question, we first need to get a handle on the vision Neuralink is selling. And let me tell you, it's a vision with two very different futures built right into it.
See, on one hand, you've got these incredible medical goals. I mean, who could argue against curing paralysis, or blindness, or deafness, things that have plagued humanity for centuries? But then, on the other hand, you have this wild ambition, this idea of AI symbiosis. Some people see that as a thrilling evolution, but others see it as a really dangerous, irreversible step towards, well, a post-human world. And it's that tension, right there, that makes Neuralink one of the most exciting and maybe one of the most feared technologies of our time.
So, how on earth does Neuralink plan to pull off these incredible and, let's face it, pretty controversial goals? Well, the answer lies in a genuine leap forward in neurotechnology. So let's take a look under the hood. Okay, so the heart of the whole system is the link. It's a small, coin-sized device that gets implanted totally flush with the skull. From that little disc, over 1,000 electrode threads, each one way thinner than a human hair, are carefully inserted into the brain. Now, this is an impossibly delicate surgery, so it's all handled by a custom-built machine, the R1 robot, which has a level of precision we just can't get with human hands. And the craziest part? This entire system, this portal to your brain, is controlled through a simple phone app. Now, you might be surprised to hear that Neuralink isn't actually the only company in this space. But when you look at how it stacks up against the competition, you really start to see why it's getting all the attention. Yeah, other technologies exist, but it's the sheer number of channels going into the brain, plus that automated robotic surgery, that truly sets it apart from the rest of the pack. But, you know, with any technology this ambitious, there's always going to be a gap between the marketing pitch and the cold, hard reality. So let's ground ourselves in the data for a minute and try to separate the hype from the actual hardware. To get to that grand vision of symbiosis with AI, we would need a data connection to our brains that is, well, it's almost unimaginable. We're talking about 8 gigabits per second. That would be like streaming multiple 4K movies directly into your consciousness, all at the same time. Okay, now compare that to where we are today. The very first human patient with a Neuralink implant can type at about 8.5 bits per second. Now look, for that individual, this is an absolute life-changing miracle, no question. But it also shows you just how vast the gap is between where we are now and that promised future. We're talking about a difference of billions.
Now here's the real kicker. The research shows that with the current hardware, the laws of physics and biology put a hard ceiling on what's even possible. With 1,024 of those little channels, the absolute maximum data rate you could ever hope to get is around 12 kilobits per second. So this idea of downloading your thoughts like a computer file, for now, it's pure science fiction.
But you know, the technical limits aren't the only hurdle here. There's a much bigger and way more personal question at stake. Once your brain is connected to a corporate server, who owns your thoughts?
The research behind this explainer brings up this powerful and honestly kind of chilling concept to describe this exact problem: data colonialism. It's really the modern version of an old story. A powerful entity comes in and claims ownership over a valuable resource. Except this time, the resource isn't land or gold. It's the data generated by your own mind.
And the amount of data we're talking about here is just staggering. A single Neuralink implant could collect 2.2 terabytes of information from your brain every single day. And we're not talking about clicks and search histories. This is the raw electrical signals of your thoughts, your memories, your deepest intentions.
So what happens to all that data? Well, according to analysis of the likely terms of service, just by getting an implant, you could be granting the company a perpetual, royalty-free license to use your brain data for literally any purpose they want. Think about that. The implications are just staggering.
And this goes way, way beyond just one company or one person's data. This technology is kicking off a super high-stakes global competition, a brain race, if you will. And it's got profound consequences for national security and the global balance of power.
The analysis lays out some deeply unsettling scenarios. Things like neurofeudalism, a world where a corporation could essentially own the device in your head, and by extension, your own ability to think freely. Or how about surveillance supremacy, where a government could monitor its citizens' minds in real time? These aren't just dystopian fantasies. They are the logical endgames if this tech develops without any guardrails. And when you zoom out and look at how Neuralink fits into Elon Musk's other companies, you start to see a much larger strategy at play. Think about it. Neuralink could capture human intention. An AI, like xAI, could process it. A Tesla bot could physically act on it. And a platform like X could monetize the whole thing. It's a completely closed loop where your thoughts themselves become the ultimate product. But here's the thing. This future isn't a foregone conclusion. Not at all. The technology is here, sure, but we still have a choice about how we use it. We can still forge a path for responsible innovation.
But that choice, it's got a deadline. A lot of experts argue that we're in this critical 5 to 10-year window to put strong ethical and legal protections in place. If we wait much longer, the technology might be so widespread, with implants in millions of heads, that it'll be too late to regulate it effectively. The clock is absolutely ticking on this. So what can actually be done? Well, the path forward includes things like making the device software open source so it can be independently audited for safety and privacy, passing laws that give you, the user, absolute and undeniable ownership of your own brain data, creating a public nonprofit BCI option to make sure there isn't a corporate monopoly on the mind, and finally, creating international treaties to govern all this, just like we do for other powerful dual-use technologies. Look, this isn't a question for some distant sci-fi future. It's a choice for us, right here, right now. The technology to merge humanity and machinery isn't on the horizon. It is, as the source material so powerfully puts it, already on the operating table. The real question is, what kind of future are we going to build with it?